Our next contestant is Brett Kenny with his speech titled, There Can Be No Compromise. With There Can Be No Compromise, please make welcome Brett Kenny.
One of the greatest minds of the 21st century once wrote, "Compromise is the unwanted love child that resulted from a one-night stand between kindness and weakness." Now, contest chair, please don't ask me to explain to the audience what that means because I haven't got a clue. And what's more worrying, I wrote it. See, I was trying to be a smarty pants and say that sometimes when we confuse kindness and weakness, we end up with a compromise which is rarely helpful. Now, let me give you some examples. I have two brothers. Paul is an intelligent, articulated and educated man. And even from a young age, Paul's interests include classical music, wine and early colonial architecture. My other brother, Adam, has interests that lay at the other end of the cultural spectrum. They include beer, football, beer, horse racing, beer, car and beer. He is what anthropologists would call a bogan. One day, when we were teenagers, Dad came home from school and said, "Kids, I'm going to take us on a family holiday. Where would you like to go?" Paul said, "Dad, I want to go to Adelaide. I want to go to the Barossa Valley and drink fine wine. I want to wander the streets and look at the sandstone churches. I want to go to the Performing Arts Theatre and listen to beautiful classical music." Adam said, "Below that," he said, "I want to go to the Gold Coast. I want to sit in the North Burleigh Surf Club. I want to drink pots, eat palmers and pervert girls in bikinis." And they fought and they would not agree. They almost came to blows till eventually Dad said, "Right, you two, we're going to..." He put a big map of Australia up. He put a pin in the Gold Coast, a pin in Adelaide. He put one halfway and said, "Right, here's the compromise. We're going to the midpoint. We're going to Dubbo and all of a shocking time." And we did. 8 years in a row, we holidayed in Dubbo. 8 years in a row, we had a shocking time. It was, as Dad said, the perfect compromise because everyone was equally miserable. Now, I mentioned my father a minute ago. My father is 88 and is still driving. Probably fair to say he shouldn't be. You've only got to look at the car. The poor thing's had more hits than Elvis. Eventually, his doctor comes to the same conclusion and says, "Mr. Kenny, I really think we need to get you tested again." So he contacts the Road Traffic Authority. They send out a tester and Dad is forced to undergo a driving test. Now, it goes pretty much as we would expect. In 15 minutes, Dad runs 4 red lights, 3 stop signs. At one point, he drives straight through a school crossing full of little kids on their way to primary school. Some of these little kids were so startled, they almost dropped their phones. The test did finish on rather an interesting note, with some exquisitely straight parking, dead straight, in the drive-in section of the local bottle shop. Unfortunately, hitherto, the bottle shop didn't have a drive-in section, but it does now. At the end of the test, this idiot from the Road Traffic Authority says to my father, "Well, Mr. Kenny, you really shouldn't be driving, and obviously you're a danger to us all, but I do realise you have to get the TAB somehow, so I'll compromise." There it is, the C word again, compromise. "What I'll do, I'll let you drive, but no more than 5 kilometres from your home." Now, how does that work? Dad lives 400 metres from school, and who's going to monitor it? I rang Dad the other day and said, "What have you been up to?" He said, "Oh, I drove up and saw Auntie Phil." And I said, "Dad, you're not supposed to be driving any more than 5 kilometres from home." He said, "It's only a little bit over." The problem being, Dad lives in the outer suburbs of Melbourne. Auntie Phil lives in Canberra. Now, sometimes compromise can be just plain stupid. Let me take you to our little athletics 2003 under 10 boys high jump. In this age group, the bar starts at 60 centimetres. All competitors have 3 attempts to jump over the bar. If they fail to clear it after 3 attempts, they're eliminated. If they do clear it, they progress to the next round and the bar is raised by 5 centimetres. Reasonably simple. When there's only one competitor left, they are declared the winner. That's the end of it. On this particular day, the high jump bar is measured and moved by Sally. Sally's a lovely lady, lovely but stupid. Sally decides that, well, yes, there's got to be a winner and the bar has to be raised, but I'd like to see the little knights have lots of jumps, so I'll compromise. So when the recorder yells out, "Move the bar 5 centimetres," what does Sally do? She compromises. She moves it 5 millimetres. Now, you don't have to be Einstein to work out what's going to happen here. Little athletics normally finishes around 12:30. On this particular, the under 10 boys high jump produces a winner at 5-5. A 9-year-old boy sets a new world record high jump of over 17 metres. 29 others qualify for the next Olympics, and even the kid who comes last apparently jumps 3 times his own height. Now, that's the stupidity of compromise. Let me take you to our national testament to compromise, the NBN. It's built on 2 principles. Number 1, in this country, we need super fast, lightning speed, reliable internet connectivity. No doubt. Number 2, it will only be as good as the slowest and weakest link. So what do? We compromise. Let's the word again. We run hybrid fibre optic cable past every house. This stuff is brilliant. It can transmit at 1,000 megabits per second. In between the letterbox and the house, we have 2 jam tins and a bit of string. And we wonder why it doesn't work. And it's simple. It doesn't work because it is a compromise. And it has cost $51 billion. And only 2 things in the history of this country have cost more: the Opera House and the grog bill and my brother Adam's 21st. Ladies and gentlemen, compromise can be futile. Compromise can be dangerous. Compromise can be stupid. And compromise can be wasteful. It is time to get it out of our psyche. And when it comes to the elimination and eradication of compromise, there can be no compromise. Contest chair.